Hello, colleagues. Here you can use the clicker to flip through the slides. I'd like to welcome you all as BIM advocates. Now I can launch the slides. My name is Alexander Kudryavtsev. My exact position is not BIM manager, but the head of BIM division at Leader Invest company. The first slide. In a nutshell, I would like to share my experience with all of you in implementing BIM in our company and give a response to a question on why we should use a BIM model as a developer company. A few facts about us. We are a Moscow developer and we construct housing. We build spot sites as well as complex development projects. At the moment, we use new technologies in our work. Almost all of the modern solutions that are in place. We use modern IT technologies, PM solutions, BIM solutions, and technologies about which I will tell you more. We also use systems to control construction quality. And we also use collaborative solutions working with customers. Why a BIM developer? Why BIM should be used by developers? To reply to this question, we need to understand that developers need to implement, need to construct and build the facility meeting deadlines and within the budget, keeping to the financial model. For that, we need a precise control and transparency throughout the project. A few facts. In early last year, we set up an efficiency department, which is in charge of implementing information systems for PM and BIM technologies, as well as implementing the system for controlling quality of construction interventions and activities. A few words about the concept. I'm a bit nervous because I'm not a frequent speaker at conferences, please understand. First and foremost, we drafted a concept on which tools we will use in the process of BIM. We worked with PSS Grytec, which is our consultant. We first decided to choose a platform. We looked at different options and decided to choose a simple solution. The solution that we wanted to choose should be user-friendly on the one hand, and on the other hand, it should be a tested and recognized, trusted tool. The next stage involved developing a technical assignment, a scope of work, as SOW for the project, for the model. We thoroughly worked on this SOW and we received a detailed document that involved all our requirements, and then we provided this technical assignment to designers to get the end result, the final result. Of course, there were some details that we didn't take into account, and we update these documents from time to time with some revisions made and updates added. Another important topic is about contract with designers.
The design should have included also information model, taken into account the requirements of our SOW. Next stage is very important, if not very difficult. At this stage, when we already receive information model, we need to figure out how to make contracts for the delivery of this information model, and how to establish the procedure of handling with the information model, how to provide comments to it, etc. Then verification and checks. That's another area that needs to be regulated, because at this stage new functions and new tasks appear, and we need to take this into account. And our main goal was not to revolutionize everything, but to integrate into the current workflow. Next stage, data organization, common data environment organization, establishment. We need BIM to get up-to-date information very quickly. So to engage all BIM participants, we needed to establish a common data environment. Sometimes a client updates the SOW, initial data, and you have to know where to get them in case something changes, something gets updated. Designers provide an information model, and experts of the client have access to it. They analyze it, provide their comments, and it is updated. We also engage marketing pros, marketing experts, and to make sure that their requirements are correct, we use them. From time to time, designers provide an update about the model, so that we wouldn't be surprised at the end, like when we receive something that we didn't expect. So everything is done on a regular basis, all the updates. When we receive our information model, production technical experts review it and make up SOW, which is used later for tender documentation and as a technical assignment for the general contract. The system also involves other stakeholders, such as construction control experts. So all the verified documentation is also uploaded to common data environment, so that we always have an up-to-date documentation on construction site. Process stakeholder engagement. That's another important thing. To integrate all BIM ideas seamlessly into the existing processes, we engaged all project stakeholders from expert review agency, production and technical department, budgeting department, marketing department. We purchased dedicated software, we carried out training, and we also ensured on-site support. That was carried out as part of the pilot project. These are the current BIM projects that we work with. Our current requirement is to develop construction documentation using BIM. The approach is as follows. If a client requires a model, that's one way to go, one option. Another option is when designers do it themselves without the client's requirement, because they know that they need it. We like the second option better, because our clients normally do not have time to wait until the proper relevant workflow is established. So we try to be proactive and to engage the designers who already are confident in using BIM technologies. We tried working in two modes, two modalities. One is when another company uses our working documentation, like we are provided with a 2D documentation, and then they build a BIM model. Another option, another modality, is when designers themselves work in BIM and they provide us what we need. Option number one wasn't very convenient to us, neither to us, nor to the designers, nor to people responsible for modeling, because the delineation of the areas of responsibility is not quite clear. Besides, if somebody makes a mistake, other parties need to verify it, and it just makes the whole project go longer, which isn't good. Lots has been said today about classifiers, which is very important. We have our own proprietary classifier in our company. Other developers have something different, and we realize that it's a pain for the designers, because in our classifier there are 5,000 items, and other clients may have, say, less or more categories in the classifiers with different codes. So designers have to adapt every time. Hopefully, that's the matter of standardization and unification of this classifier. Hopefully it will be resolved. So this classifier is important because each element in our information model, be it a column or a wall, has a certain code. It needs to be assigned to the object to be reused at a later stage. In finances, in financial system, in work planning system, SOW, all construction documentation from regulatory authorities. So this code is used everywhere. In BOP, we had to integrate this classifier with BIM. It was a challenging task, but we managed to address it. Let us go back to the previous slide. We had to split it by group, by category, by type for the same work, because classifiers have this special feature. Same pipeline, same pipe can be part of different system and can have different codes. So to make it easier for designers and for ourselves, we split the works by different groups, like this, by type, group, category, producer. These categories are enough for now. And based on this, we can filter everything out and ensure data processing. Now, data processing is done based on the database. Database is a heart of the information model, not just BIM, 3D picture, but the database that contains all the information and allows you to process this information and to provide what business needs, such as work progress reports or something else, whatever is required right now. Next development stage is interconnection of all process stakeholders with BIM data. I showed you universal data environment, but here we're talking about metadata storage capability, where each stakeholder has access to the data they need. For instance, financial aspects. It is especially, by the way, important when several processes are going on at the same time, and you need to see how much financial resources a certain process will take at a certain point in time. Also, SOW, accepted and delivered, based on certain elements being checked. These yellow elements are planned works, color red shows, or orange, deviation, schedule deviation, green, in progress, work in progress, and this dark color is everything that is already completed. We also plan to ensure that these BIM metadata are used throughout the entire process and provided to general contractor, so that they won't have time working with the documentation, but just they would have a look at the BIM model and know immediately what they need to do, how much work, so that they would be able to come up with a normal working commercial proposal that won't have to be changed, updated in the future. Now, as for BIM technologies, how they are used today, well, we use it to identify any mistakes in design. We can also use it for the purposes of working documentation. We identify some mistakes, we fix it already at the initial stage, so they won't cause any delays in the future. All calculations of volumes, of scope of work, can be done much faster using BIM model than 2D drawings. It's quite obvious. Again, common data environment. That's also very important. Up-to-date documentation, That's very good, very important. Having up-to-date documentation throughout the entire process cycle. This is time for me to finish. Why a developer needs BIM? To coordinate your 3D project, because the main mistakes happen when you use the traditional approach to designing. When a certain hole is planned in the wrong place, and then it leads to another mistakes, another problems. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Also, scope of work, work supervision, deadline monitoring, and project financing. This is where BIM can be used by the developer. And to sum up, BIM is about digital economy. That's a trendy topic. Our government is talking about this all the time. And BIM can be perceived as digitalization of construction projects, which is beneficial for everyone, both for the designers, because it helps to eliminate the mistakes or identify mistakes at early stages, and for the clients, and for contractors, and for the investor, because all the process is transparent and it financial model is easily verifiable. You can make sure that it corresponds to the result that you expect, and it also helps to cut this paper trail. When you have boxes of documentation eating up lots of space and time, and I have run out of time completely, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.